the subject of a fake news story.
Oh yeah, what they say? I was running for president. No, I voted. No, what they say?
You switched your support.
I switched.
From Hillary to
Yeah.
Trump. What do you make of all the fake news and it affects
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
There are celebrities who dodge tough questions. There are celebrities who laugh them off. And then there's Denzel Washington, a man who will look you dead in the eye, dismantle your entire premise, and leave you sitting there questioning your career choices. Because Denzel doesn't do sound bites. He doesn't do scripted PR answers. He doesn't smile through disrespect and keep it moving. When an interviewer crosses a line, whether it's lazy journalism, loaded questions, or straight-up ignorance, he doesn't just push back, he educates you. And he does it with the kind of calm, terrifying authority that makes the entire room go silent. These are the moments where one of the greatest actors alive turned press junkets into philosophy lectures, red carpets into classrooms, and live television into an absolute masterclass in how to handle yourself when the world is watching. The Fake News Lecture, 2016. We're starting with the one that broke the internet. It's December 2016. Denzel is walking the red carpet for his film Fences. A fake news story has been circulating claiming Denzel endorsed a political candidate. Reporter Nicholas Balassi approaches him and asks about it.
That was a question. Who you wound up supporting in the election, presidential election?
None of your business.
None of my business?
None of your business.
Well, I'm only asking because the story was online, but that's okay.
Huh?
Most celebrities would laugh it off, but Denzel brushes off the endorsement story with a blunt, "None of your business who I voted for." And then, instead of walking away, he turns and puts the entire media apparatus on trial. He looks directly at the reporters surrounding him and says, "If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed." Balassi tries to keep the conversation going, and Denzel just leans in harder. One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. Just say it, sell it. He finishes with one line that absolutely floored everybody. "Anything you practice, you'll get good at, including BS." That's not an interview. That's a TED Talk delivered on a sidewalk. The $20 Million Deflection, 2000. Now that was Denzel going full professor mode. But here's the thing, he doesn't always go heavy. Sometimes he destroys you with a smile. In 2000, legendary CBS journalist Ed Bradley sat down with Denzel for a career-spanning 60 minutes profile. Bradley decides to go after the money. He leans in and says, "I read that you get 20 million a film now." Bringing up an actor's salary is a classic journalist trap. You either sound defensive, falsely humble, or completely out of touch. Without missing a single beat, Denzel flashes a knowing grin and fires right back. "I heard you make that kind of money too." Ed Bradley, one of the most composed journalists in broadcast history, just starts laughing.
I read that you get 20 million a film now.
I heard you make that kind of money too.
I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet.
I'm not there yet.
And later in that same interview, when Bradley suggests Denzel has been working a lot, he corrects him. Acting is not work. Acting is a privilege and a craft. Being a garbage man, that's work. 2 sentences. 2 completely different weapons. 1 charm bomb, 1 reality check. Better to be a doctor than a gangster. 2007. Everything we've seen so far has been Denzel going up against professional journalists. But this next one, he does it to a child. And somehow, it's the most powerful moment on this entire list. It's 2007. Denzel is at the Hollywood premiere of American Gangster, a film specifically designed to glamorize a real-life drug kingpin. A young kid reporter named Liam walks up and asks Denzel how to be a gangster.
Gangster is a good movie. How can I be a Canadian gangster?
For 99% of actors, this is a softball. You ruffle the kid's hair, give a fun, in-character answer, and move on. Denzel doesn't do that. He crouches down, looks this kid dead in the eye, and completely breaks the Hollywood illusion. "You shouldn't be a gangster. You're too smart to be a gangster." Then he flips the interview entirely, starts interrogating the kid. "What's your favorite subject? Math? Math and science? So you're going to be a doctor. Better to be a doctor than a gangster. Never want to be a gangster." He's standing on the red carpet of his own movie, a movie about a gangster, and he's actively telling a child not to buy what the movie is selling. That's not an actor. That's a man who understands that his influence extends way beyond the screen. It's not color, it's culture. 2016. He's doing press for Fences in 2016. Sirius XM host Karen Hunter asks him why the late playwright August Wilson insisted that the film be directed by a black director. It's a loaded question, one that could easily spiral into a defensive political argument. Denzel doesn't take the bait. He calmly says, "It's not color, it's culture."
Could a white director not have?
It's not
produced this
color,
work?
it's culture.
And then he drops the analogy that makes the entire debate irrelevant. Steven Spielberg did Schindler's List. Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas. Spielberg could have directed Goodfellas. Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List, but there are cultural differences. Then he brings it home with something nobody can argue with. I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your head on a Sunday morning. What it smells like, that's a cultural difference, not just a color difference. In 3 sentences, he turned a racial debate into a conversation about lived experience. No anger, no defensiveness, just an undeniable truth. You can't legislate love. 2016. Denzel kept that same energy every time a reporter tried to turn him into a political spokesperson. A reporter asks him point blank, under President Obama, have race relations improved? This is the ultimate media trap. Any answer becomes a headline. Denzel sidesteps the whole thing by shrinking the question down to the 2 people standing in front of each other. You're white, or whatever you are. I'm black, or whatever I am.
Race relationships have to do with race relationships. You're white, or whatever you are. I'm black, or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love.
We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. And then he delivers the line that shut the entire question down. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into liking each other. It's up to us. Exposing the economics of racial division, 1992. What makes Denzel truly special is that he's been doing this for decades. He wasn't just ahead of the curve, he was the curve. Rewind to 1992. Denzel is on the Arsenio Hall show promoting Malcolm X. The LA riots have just shaken the country, and Arsenio asks him about the media's coverage of race relations.
Called people like Martin Luther King, who just got a Nobel Peace Prize, an Uncle Tom. Is this correct, first?
Well, I'd rather say that in the States, there's a law that has recently been passed, or a decision handed down by the court, wherein if you call...
Most actors in 1992 would have given a soft, diplomatic answer. Denzel went full economist. He tore into the media for using the word riots to describe what he saw as people who were simply tired of what was going on. He accused news outlets of sitting over a fire and blowing on it, manufacturing chaos for ratings. Then he exposed the financial machinery behind it. They want to keep us at each other's throats so that at the top, they're making money. This is 1992. Decades before anyone used the words clickbait or rage farming, Denzel Washington sat on a late-night talk show and diagnosed the exact same media manipulation that dominates the conversation today. Send your son to Iraq, 2016. The Hollywood Reporter has assembled a round table of elite directors: Mel Gibson, Oliver Stone, Barry Jenkins, Damien Chazelle. These are titans, and the conversation drifts into how difficult and challenging filmmaking is. Denzel has had enough. He looks at the assembled multimillionaires and says, "It's like when people talk about the difficulty of making a movie, and I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult."
What was your worst job?
I was a garbage man, like Troy.
Huh.
You get 8 hours worth of work, but you can do it in 3. So you can go home as soon as you finish. Post office, you get 3 hours worth of work and you make it last 8. I did both.
The room goes quiet. He keeps going. "It's just a movie. Relax. I don't play that precious nonsense. Your son got shot in the face. That's difficult." Oliver Stone, an actual Vietnam combat veteran, is sitting right there, and even he doesn't push back. Because what is there to say? Denzel just dropped the most devastating reality check in the history of Hollywood press events. The Those People Pushback, 2004. Katie Couric, elite NBC anchor, one of the most respected names in broadcast journalism, is interviewing Denzel for the Manchurian Candidate. She asks if he agrees with the idea that Hollywood folks should stick to acting. Denzel immediately rejects the framing. "I don't know what Hollywood folks are. I'm not a Hollywood folk."
But I'm not in Hollywood. I don't have anything. I don't know what that really means to be in Hollywood. I have a good job. I'm an ordinary guy with an extraordinary job.
Couric, trying to recover, awkwardly rephrases, "Are you one of those people that..." And that's when Denzel catches it. "Ah, there you go. Am I one of those people? Isn't that interesting? Kurik panics. Denzel refuses to stop. No, don't stop. I heard what you just said. Am I one of those people? No, I'm not. I'm a human being. My job is acting. Kurik later admitted she left that interview feeling completely shaken. He didn't attack her. He held up a mirror. He repeated her own words back to her and let those words do the damage on their own. And then, because he's Denzel, he later wrote a generous check to her cancer foundation. Because it was never personal. It was about the principle. I follow the Lord. 2025. It's 2025. Denzel is doing press with Spike Lee for their new film. An Associated Press reporter clumsily uses phrasing about Denzel following Lee or following current Hollywood trends. Denzel doesn't let the sentence finish. He leans forward. The entire energy of the room changes, and he says, with absolute, unshakable conviction, I'm a leading man. I don't follow nobody. I follow the Lord. That's it.
I'm a leading man. You know, I don't follow nobody. I follow the Lord. That's it. That's the only following I'm doing is.
The only following I'm doing is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm not following anybody else on this planet. Period. In an era dominated by followers, influencers, and industry sycophants, Denzel Washington declared, on camera in front of the global press, that the only authority he answers to isn't a director, a studio, a trend, or a journalist. It's God. That's not a correction. That's a declaration of sovereignty. The Cannes Boundary Enforcement, 2025. It's May 2025, the Cannes Film Festival. Denzel is walking the red carpet for the premiere of Highest to Lowest. Cameras are flashing, chaos everywhere, and then a photographer crosses the press barrier, reaches out, and grabs Denzel's arm. Everything stops. Denzel yanks his arm free, steps directly toward the photographer, and with a lethal, unsmiling stare, he points his finger directly in the man's face and says, "One more time. Stop. Never put your hands on me again." The photographer nervously tries to play it off and unbelievably reaches out again. Denzel escalates. "Stop. Stop it. I mean it. Stop." He then turns his back and abandons that entire section of the press line. Red carpets are designed to strip celebrities of their autonomy. You're supposed to smile. You're supposed to comply. Denzel Washington is not supposed to do anything. And at 70 years old,
You're here for all people who love you too. And we have something special to give you, Mr. Denzel Washington.
Which is the Palme d'Or d'honneur pour Denzel Washington.
on the biggest stage in international cinema, he proved it. The Economics of Hollywood Romance, 2000. Denzel didn't just call out the news media. He called out his own industry on primetime television and made them sit there and listen. Back to the Ed Bradley 60 Minutes interview. Bradley notices something strange.
I want to thank the Academy. You know, when I was in college, first starting out as an actor, they asked each one of us what we wanted to do. I said, I want to be the best actor in the world.
Despite being one of the biggest stars on the planet with an Oscar on his shelf, Denzel has starred in virtually no romantic films. He asks why. Denzel doesn't protect anybody. He looks at Bradley and says flatly, "I'm not offered any." Then he peels back the curtain. "I think it comes down to business. If it was a love story with myself and a black woman, it's not big business in Hollywood, so maybe they're not interested." He just told a primetime CBS audience that one of the most bankable actors alive can't get cast in a romance because the industry doesn't believe black love is commercially viable, on camera, to millions of viewers, while the executives who write his checks are watching. That's not bravery. That's a man who genuinely does not care about protecting the system that employs him if that system is built on a lie.